Hello, my name is Hajin, and I'll discuss an article from Harvard Business Review titled Meeting the Challenge of Disruptive Change. This is an excellent article which was selected as one of the HBR's 10 must-reads. For those of you who didn't get to read this article, I'll introduce key concepts and corporate examples from the article. This article has three main parts. First, assessing organization's capabilities. How do you assess an organization's capability? Do you look at financial statements or employees' profile or its product lines? Those are either tangible resources or intangible resources. But resource is not the only factor in capability. You should also look at processes and values. We will talk more about it later. The second part is about innovation. These days, so many companies talk about innovations, but not all the innovations are the same. This article divides innovation into two main categories, sustaining one and disruptive one. Third, large organizations need some strategy in order to meet the challenge of disruptive innovation. The article suggests three solutions, but in this presentation, we will discuss only the two of them. And this will be also the outline of my presentation. Before getting to the main point, let me give you a little bit more background. This article is not about all the companies, but only the large established companies. What is so special about them? As a company grows, its products or services also evolve because companies add features or functions to their existing products, trying to capture more attractive customers in premium tiers of their markets. When doing so, however, they also add overhead costs. For example, Toyota entered the US market with the Corona model, which targeted the lower end of the market. But then as the company grew, they developed new products, and today, as we all know, they manufacture more sophisticated and advanced cars such as Camry and Lexus. In other words, at first Toyota was looking at only the resources, but as the company grew, they also developed processes and values. So it is easy to understand that resources matter. But what about processes and values? How do they affect a company or its business? Let's look at some examples. McKinsey & Company is the world-class business consulting firm, and they are well known for producing high-quality work. But did you know that this company had very high turnover? Every year, hundreds of MBAs join the company and as many of them leave. But because this company has such powerful processes and values, it almost doesn't matter what employees are in what project teams. So this is the case where a company uses its processes and values as its strength. But not all companies can do that. Some companies are locked in its own processes. AV Technology is a producer of digital editing systems for television. This company grew very fast in the beginning with its star product. But because they so depended on its one product, they did not develop its processes for coming up with new products. As a result, they failed to sustain its initial success. Now let's talk about innovation. What is sustaining innovation or disruptive innovation, and how are they different? First, sustaining innovation. This type of innovation occurs when companies produce better products or services in ways that customers in the mainstream market already value. In other words, customers can anticipate this innovation and they already know that they want this change. For example, Compaq adopted 32-bit 386 microprocessor instead of 16-bit 286 microprocessor. This innovation made its products much faster and more powerful. Merrill Lynch's cash management account was fully developed financial service. This service allowed customers write checks against their equity, and then this was very convenient for customers. Unlike sustaining innovation, disruptive innovation is something entirely new, a new kind of product or services which often appear to be worse in the beginning, and they also yield lower profit margins per unit sold initially. But if this is the only characteristics, many companies won't be so concerned about grabbing disruptive innovation. The major characteristic of disruptive innovation is that they improve very fast and eventually become the mainstream products or services. Charles Schwab's bare bones discount broker was a simple financial service as opposed to full service of Merrill Lynch's. They charged lower fees and they had less aggressive marketing. As they gained popularity, they became the mainstream service in the financial sector. And personal computers. When the personal computers first came out of the market, it wasn't powerful enough to accommodate the major applications because at that time, mainframe computers prevailed. But as PCs became popular, the appropriate applications and accessories also came out, and today, PC is the mainstream products, not the mainframe computers. As we can see, this disruptive innovation is very important. However, as companies grow day after day and year after year, their values and processes are designed or fixated in finding sustaining innovation. And this is why it is so hard for them to grab disruptive innovation. Then, what should large companies do to increase their ability to grab disruptive innovation? The authors of the article suggest three possible solutions, but we will discuss two of them in this presentation. The first solution is to form a new group with a new rule or new boundary. This kind of team will be dedicated only to new challenges, and it's often referred as heavyweight teams. This term heavyweight teams were coined by Stephen Wheelwright and Kim Clark. Let's look at examples. Chrysler's heavyweight teams facilitated the definition of new processes that were much faster and more efficient in integrating various subsystems into new car designs. The similar example is Eli Lilly's heavyweight teams. It created new processes which developed better products faster. Another way to deal with this problem for large companies is through acquisition. But acquisition is not easy. IBM had a hard lesson when they acquired ROM Company. ROM Company's value actually resided in its processes for finding new markets, which was very flexible and different from IBM's. But because IBM didn't realize its real value, they pushed its own corporate structure or its own processes and values, and as a result, the ROM business stumbled very badly. But some companies use acquisition very wisely. Cisco Systems usually acquire early-stage organizations, which have usually heavy resources but not much processes, And through that, Cisco's system would get much value out of acquisition. When they acquired a larger or more mature organization such as Stratecom, Cisco wouldn't observe just its resources, but instead input its own resources to utilize the company's processes and values. Finally, let me summarize this article. Why do large companies often fail to seize new market opportunities? Because the new market opportunities often come from disruptive innovation instead of sustaining innovation. But as organizations grow, their capabilities move from resources to processes and values, and those processes and values are often designed to find sustaining innovation. So that was the difference between the two types of innovation. So what can large companies do? Well, there were two possible solutions that I introduced. One is to by creating new form of organization or new group, or externally through acquisitions. So this wraps up my presentation. Thank you for listening. I am Hajin from HBR Study Club at SolBridge International School of Business.